soon, but yeah, whatever. Just making announcements. Just announcements. So here's what's going on. There. All right, now we just did this. We performed at this event. Here, it's there we go. First Sunday, the first Sunday of each month. They hold this event. Now this time it was at the Coalition. That's a pretty nice room. We hadn't been in there, but we performed there last night. It was our birthday. We decided, well, we need a birthday present, so we called them up, and it just so happens that the grand operators doing stuff out there had foreseen that we went in this. So somebody pulled out and made an opening for us, and we called up and said, yeah, somebody just pulled out. It's like, oh, good. So we got the opening. It was 6:20 to 7, but we ended up playing starting later, and they ended it still at like 7. Well, he says on the flyer to 8 p.m., but he ended it early. He ended it early because people, I don't know, I don't understand this town. They wanted to go home. By the time the night was over, the place was empty. The only people that came were musicians, people that played, and vendors that wanted. So there was nobody there nobody for the vendors to sell to, nobody for the musicians to play to, but the vendors. And this is what it was like when we opened up this. When we went morning, opened up that morning at the Trump music festival. Not the most recent one but the one last year, the one before that. And anyway, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people interested in events in this town. I don't understand it. Maybe there's just not enough good events yet. But we're trying. So, there's this one here every Sunday. It's going to move around because he don't have a solid location yet. So he's thinking about next Sunday, like Saddle West. So what to do, I mean, not next Sunday, but the next December, the first Sunday in December. So what needs to happen is what I'm going to try to do is stay in touch with him and find out when the event where the event is in advance, a couple weeks in advance, so we can go ahead and use our channels to push, and use our channels to push, whatever, and get other people to push, and do flyers and stuff. Now here's another event right here coming up on the 17th. This guy's cool. It was one of the vendors. One of the guys had belts and dresses, and I had some cute dresses. Looking at myself as he needs a changing room. He needs a room where you can try them on. Anyway, and the whole deal. It's got to fit over your ass and your hips and stuff. To look right. I don't know. Well, some ladies like to just let it go man style and let it droop, like we did when I was hiding myself behind Ron, big beard, and the Rasta hair, big scraggly hair, until it started falling out. Oh, then at that time we didn't care about widow's peaks. Now what we want to do is fill these widow's peaks with something detestable. All right, so anyway, this is the Reggae Earth Splash, okay, coming up. It's going to be at the Nevada Treasure RV Resort. It's on the 17th of November, and it starts at 6 p.m., and there's no closing time. It doesn't say when it ends. If you want to talk to Stan or Marvin, it's 702 386 7022. Okay, another one, 775 253 4550. Don't ask me how I can read those numbers while they're backwards, but that's one of those special gifts that we're given, the dyslexia. we have dyslexia gives you, I don't know if you could really call it a dyslexia, really. it doesn't really completely disconnect you from the lexicon of language. A total dyslexia would be well, like can't hear it and you can't see it. So if you don't hear it, you don't see it, and you don't feel it, you can't speak it. See, you never learn it because you don't have no input. It's amazing, Helen Keller. It's amazing that Helen Keller, being blind and deaf, she only had her sense of touch. That's all he had. Now, if you didn't have a sense of touch, you'd be toast. You would only have the okay, so like it was long time ago before there was ever let's do this. Go on, do. Okay, that's us. Go on, do. Now you can't deny us from that point. Okay, you can't deny all of existence from the start of all of existence. You can't deny that it exists. You cannot. And this is the roots of it. This is the go on, do, because everything became for the purpose of living, for the purpose of, no, we're getting off on a tangent. Okay, so on the 7th. Okay, oh, now, at this event here, we did find this. One of the booths was these people. These are bikers against child abuse. Yeah, now child abusers. That's what we'd like to do. We told them we want to do it. We want to get a fight promoter to and we'll go find these child abusers in their cases, and they say maybe it's like they could get their sentence reduced or completely eliminated if they decide they want to come and fight one of our fighters. See, like first, like we'll open up. I want to take one myself. Ron wants to come out on one. Oh, sorry, come on. Back. Come on. Calm down. Calm down. Okay. So, anyway, so this Reggae Earth Splash is Thursday, November 17th, 2022. Anyway, still thinking about it. Oh, and the woman beaters. It's like, hey, come and try to beat this woman up. See what happens. Come on, see what happens. Oh, we'll do it in a ring with a fight promoter, with an audience, with a video camera. All legal and signed, released, and everything. So it's like, because, we never want to go to jail over, handing somebody's ass on their platter. Handing somebody's ass on a platter. No. I don't want to go to jail for that. We've been very careful to keep that boy half that wants to just obliterate people like this, those people that do shit like this, that abuse children and women, and purse thieves. Purse snatchers. People take advantage of the weak. Woe to they who, where is it written in a book? There's books where it's written, religious books where it's written, woe to he who they would be take advantage of the poor or the weak. My wrath is long and hard and into the extends into the eons. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, you know what I'm saying? It's like, ah! Calm down. Okay, so these are basically announcements. What's going on in the process of we're doing this relocation out of here, and it is a process of kind of like colonizing Mars, because the property that we found in the process, it's the whole. Let me get this book. I bought one of these at Walmart, basically one of these. It's writing. Okay. Anyway, And then I've called this, I haven't put it on here yet and haven't decided what to size it down or whatever, but it'll be the Futura project. And what it is, it's a housing development that is it's it represents colonizing Mars. It represents building Space City. It represents all these things that need to happen in advance of getting out there with those things, getting humanity populated into space, which is actually ultimately the whole purpose of all of it. See, it's all meant. Everything was made and manifested for one thing, and that is to produce life, to live. Because, see, if you think about it, oh, yeah, that's how it happened, too. Shake it up and away we go. Get away, fly. I'm trying to teach you people, your species. Anyway, the Futura project is a housing development that we've been doing. It's predecessory to Space City. See, in order to do, and it's also it sets up an environment by which these technologies, the first ship people, we're interested in having them come and get involved in what we're doing. We want to get these properties. We've got this one we start with. We're going to set it up so we can live out there without having to have this conventional septic tank where the water goes into the ground before it's able to hit the topsoil and irrigate anything. See, that's stupid. Stupid, STUPID. See, stupid. Mankind is stupid. Getting smarter. Still stupid. Not able to understand this. I have to switch away from that stuff. Like switching away from the fossil fuels. Still going to need oil. You know why? Because we still want plastic and styrofoam. That's great stuff, but it only has such a life. But you know why it has such a life? Is because when it was first, all the textile, when this stuff was first made, it was indestructible and did not deteriorate in time. There's out here in this place, there's a type of plastic that's been out there. It's been hanging out wet in the sun, waiting. We've been waiting for years and years and years, and it was been in the sun when it was picked up, and been waiting for years and years out there in this field, out there in this particular property, okay, waiting for this stuff to deteriorate, and it hasn't. It still has the same properties today that it had when it was stuck out there in the field. Now that's what we really want for the plastics ultimately, so they don't end up in the world. We want them to be permanent, and we want them in space. We don't want them here on Earth. No more plastics on Earth. We want to collect all the plastics up. There's this thing, okay, it's called I'm not going to bring in the name until this person's ready to bring it out, because we need to develop something out on their property. I need the Public Space Association to raise some money to put into their place out there, the particular kind of greenhouse technology that this person wants to develop. And put it out there, test it first. And then we want to put one, if it works out, we want to put one in Futura Village. Okay? As one in one area of it. And we want the village, each property to basically be self-supporting, off the grid. Well, actually, the humans living on it support this thing, because the humans living on it, the humans and the animals that are there, the live people that are there, their bio waste fortifies the growing process, which is part of the process which takes the waters, okay, because there's no water out there, okay. There's water we can collect off the mountain, off the alluvial fan. We can design the whole village out there, the whole plumbing system in order so to collect the water that comes in, okay, into big cisterns, okay. But that's one way to do it. But that doesn't help the planet with the technology, okay. And it is a nice backup system, and of course, it'll be helpful to have that in order to irrigate the grounds around it. Okay, as the water collects in the cistern, it be capacitated by the cistern and then delivered off to irrigation. That won't change anything. It won't change anything in the environment except that particular area will think it's got a lake in front of it. Okay, and then the cisterns can be a lake. Okay, see, so we can take some of the area of the alluvial fan and hollow it out and move some of that dirt around, whatever, and take and hollow that and let that become a pond where the rainwater comes in and collects. And then there could be fishing and whatever, blah, 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 blah. The grounds around it intended ultimately to maybe made in a little garden spot. Okay. There's, we haven't counted all the pads that are available, but part of the idea, it's a new way of thinking. We don't want to rent. We want to eliminate rent in the world. House rent. You can still rent cars, make it. We can still rent. I still want to have where we can come down from Space City and get on our Harley Davidson motorcycle that's gas powered. It don't have to be gasoline. It can be denatured alcohol. Will run just fine, or isopropyl alcohol with a believe it or not, a wax top cylinder lubricant. Teflon coated embedded metal, that kind of stuff. That's fine. Teflon, Teflon wears. The problem is Teflon wears off because microplastic. It ends up in the environment too. Your Teflon skillets. After you've fucked up and used metal on them, all that stuff flakes off. That's what do you think Teflon is? Teflon's plastic. It's one of those petroleum byproducts, polymolecule. But guess what isn't? Guess what is totally natural is carbon graphite. Carbon graphite is a great lubricant and a great replacement for those areas where you'd rather not get Teflon nanoparticles in the environment. Like when instead of lubricating a rock that's outside that gets rained on a lot, whatever, instead of lubricating it with Teflon, you lubricate it with carbon, regular graphite. And all you got to do is come along with a little graphite tube after it rains. Every time after it rains, just squirt some more in there. Okay, that's all. So anyway, these are some ways to improve to dig away from the plastics, and ultimately all the plastics out in space and not on the Earth. So that means we want to mine out all the plastics that have ever been buried. We want to collect up all the plastics that are in the ocean. We want all the plastics that are collecting up in where is it? Over there, Sarah. Can't think of where it's at. I've watched it on. I got to look through my history to find it. It's out on. It's out on. Watch Climate Change 911. There's by now 100 some odd videos. There's our movies, hour-long movies. We got 200 hours of stuff on that playlist now. That's just a guess off the top of my head, but about climate change. There's stuff about what to do about it, and I think we're going to put this in that playlist because we mentioned it. Okay, it's going to go right into that playlist. So we can do it right now. Edit while it's streaming. Let me do it right now. Edit description. Here, playlists. Playlists right here. Select playlists. We're going to put it right into climate change 911. Okay. We'll put it in also G period, O period, D period, because we talked about that. And breaking news, by the way, that is news that are relocating is, then what else? Oh yeah, it is a truly now. The movie begins, a life recycled. Okay. And, well, our quantum reality, no, we're not ready to put that in there, but it is, see, here's how this works. You think about entangled particles. Let's talk about entangled particles for a minute. Okay, let's talk about entangled particles for a minute, because see, here in this book, we're just noticing, making note of this, that, you know, the new address, here's an alignment that which Steve, we didn't even plan on didn't notice. The new address is Misiones Lane, Mission East, which I think is maybe French for missions, plural missions. And the address is 101 Mission East, so it's like 101 missions, you know, because it's going to be that way. Just moving out there, it's going to be that way. And it's also very credible what Elon Musk is going to have to do to get out there. And truly, what we should do, actually, I'm saying we, but yeah, it'll end up being we, because I'm going to probably end up involved before it's over, because of Space City, is we need smaller rotating space stations that start populating people in order to get an infrastructure out there, in order to start harvesting resources from space, in order to minimize the cost then of moving around out in space. So we need something near the moon, we need something near the Earth, that can travel back and forth from the moon to the Earth, okay, and then we need something near something at Mars, a space station orbiting Mars, okay, and then we can start colonizing Mars after we get self-supporting safe stations, we'll call safe space stations that are able to provide homeostasis. Okay, we can't get that, so we could get a piece of property, get some property. Well, actually, we don't even have the Earth in homeostasis yet, everybody. Just understand that, okay? The Earth is not in homeostasis, so where do you expect to ever get homeostasis in space? So there's the real wisdom I have to offer you. So now, so it's about fix Earth, fix planet Earth. Then go to still work on some research and development, still work on getting out there, still working with that, but fix Earth. And that's what future is about. So the future of project, I didn't get into that. Well, here's the alignment. What didn't come out? I got to tell you about the alignment, the numerical alignment. There's all kinds of numerical alignments involved here. And then, well, see, the event we did yesterday happened to line up. That was our birthday, November 6th. Okay. And it's 15 days into our moon. There's 15 letters in my name. It landed on that day. How does that happen? Okay, so there's a numerical alignment. Numerical alignment. Maybe it's just because I'm, one of those weird savant people that find alignment stuff. Okay. Anyway, so now, but there's the alignment is 10 years. We moved in here, Karen and I, December 1st, 2012. Okay. She passed away within the first 2 weeks because she medicine overdose. Rest of her soul, we miss her so much. We wish we would have been having her here for 10 years and 1 month and moving her out there too. Well, but anyway, we have to live and move on. And it was Sabrina, the doggy, that helped us move on and stay alive. Unfortunately, she's gone. Yeah. But we're going to bury her out there. And that's part of the reason we buy the property. We call it a shrine. But it's a grave site, blah, blah. Ultimately, it becomes a property of this Public Space Association. Public Space shows it becomes at the Public Space Association's main address and home site for the association, where then we establish the bank account on that address, which is the coffer, and then there we go and start building the coffer, which then the coffer, out of the coffer we start buying properties, and those properties we develop also into eco, like Mars got to be, where we do a percentage of a percentage of materials we bring in, a percentage of materials that, well, in the case of Mars, it's twice over, because we want to take recycled materials and some new materials, okay, we'll call store-bought and recycled, okay, and then the third one is in situation materials, okay, so that's how we're going to run this whole village out here. It's a new way of thinking. So ultimately, as these properties get purchased, we'll develop them into livable properties that people can move into, and we will find people that are smart enough to want to, hey, let's get out of the stupid rent trap, okay, and get out of the taxes too, because we're going to let the Public Space Association carry it. Okay, but they get to buy it and never pay. Once it's paid for, they don't got to pay no more. And it's owned by the association, so that way they don't got to pay taxes either. They're not responsible for any more money on this planet. They can live out there for no money. And that's the whole magic of saving this planet, saving humanity on this planet, eliminating homelessness, okay, eliminating poverty, okay, is developing properties where people can stay there for no money. They don't have to have an income. They don't have to have any money except for their extravagancies like their phone and their TV and their want to travel to their concert or whatever they want to do. They can get the money for that, and they can do their artwork for that. They can do whatever for that. You know, that's where the money ultimately, if we get the whole world working on that program, there no longer need money anymore for your life and livelihood. It entitles every birth child to a place to live. Because guess what? Ultimately, space cities get built by robots from asteroids. Okay? Mining asteroids. Okay, is man's future. Okay. Robotics is man's future. Living in space is man's future. Why? It's because it's meant to happen. It's the plan, everybody. It's the long-term plan. Because why? All of existence is meant to support life. It's meant to manifest and support life. Life is abroad out there all over the place. Okay. It's just really far away. Okay. Hasn't been detected yet because it's really far away, because the instance, understand the mathematics of it truly. The instance of life, the possibility that could occur in one particular place, in where there's, say, there's of course billions of galaxies, but let's just talk about our galaxy and our galactic arms. In our galactic arm, there's so many exoplanets that have the ability to support life. Okay, but within that particular planet, there's a zone of climate that's only able to pop life in at one particular moment. And you know what I'm saying? In other words, the balance of everything, in order for the green algae to begin, in order for that little spark to happen, it's got to be the spark. You know what I mean? The moment in time with the right electromagnetic, all the balance of all the forces have to be perfect to have those DNA and RNA molecules to pop into action. The proteins have to be present to have the to manifest the worker proteins that separate it and that build it. See what I'm saying? It's like, so the probability of that happening on so many hundreds of planets that are within a particular galactic arm that are capable of life, the probability of that happening at one particular moment or another, yes, it could happen. Okay, it could happen on this. It happened on this planet. We know this. Okay, but the planet over there, the moment in time, it's a particular instant where it's able to manifest and then support life, may have not arrived yet. Okay, or it may have passed already. There may have been life, and then life passed, and it may have came and gone before it ever developed any technology, before it ever developed any kind of process above and beyond a protozoan, or beyond that of an algae. Okay, however you want to pronounce it, or whatever language you want to speak. Anyway, we're talking about a lot of different stuff now. Anyway, but the point is that the whole purpose of life is to live, and if you're not living, if you're just sitting as like a lump on a log waiting to die, you're wasting your life. Okay, you need to be in action doing something. Preferably something right, something productive, something that doesn't distract from the advancement of our uh, of our race, of the human. I want to say advancement of life, because here's what I'm going to do. Humankind is stupid for this reason, because they want to try to separate themselves from nature. That's the whole idea of the septic tank in the first place, is because they thought human poop was special. Okay? And it's not. Should be handled the same way that Mother Nature handles the poop. Mother Nature puts it right on the ground. Okay. Some species bury it just under the dirt, and the pee goes right on the ground. Okay, or on the plants. If you're a boy dog, you're gonna pee on a bush. Okay, or somebody's leg if you can find it. I remember being a dog; it was fun. There's a leg. No, actually, it was a female dog. My name was Lady. It was just before we got here. Opportunity to come and check out the family we're going to live with and grow up with as Ronnie. Okay, and then. But then was the argument with like, well, in this life they wanted me to come and be a boy, but I don't want to be a boy because things are terrible for boys. Way back when in history, it's like you had to be in the army, you had to do this and had to do that. Couldn't be independent because you had to be subject to somebody's rules sometime during your life. Subject to somebody else's will. Not me. I can't be subject to anybody's will, per se. I will be glad to bend my will to your will if it's in line with righteousness. See what I'm saying? But I can't be subject to your will. You try to subjugate me, I will fight back. And I will fight back with force greater than what it takes, greater than the force you're applying, see, in order to defeat you. This is the way it is, and the way we are. This is our way. We have a right to feel this way, just like everybody else. It's called sovereignty. Okay? So, I got this song started. We are so grateful for what we have acquired through honest means. That's what I am. I am so grateful for what I am. We don't squander the gifts we have. Every single day we make a plan. It's part of productive procrastination. You know what that is? The keepers of tomorrow promote productive procrastination. That is to say that you postpone your agenda long enough to plan it out. You don't just jump up and do it. You don't just jump up blindly and go and then end up in a failure. You plan it out, calculate it, make calculated anticipate. You make calculated moves based upon the data that you have before you. You operate in a fashion that produces the greatest result. Okay, like moving out of here, and the guy we sold the trailer to, you should be moving. Oh, just piling stuff in, moving and everything. So no, we have a strategic plan. We've been moving stuff out there right out the gate, stuff that we can make a fence the yard out with. And then next step, the water containers, moving, establishing water on the property already. And then we have a load here. This next load we've started building, we've taken some of our dead refrigerator coolers we've saved because they're good for keeping stuff dry, saved for this purpose. They're anyway loaded up, and then we're loading up food stores that we've stocked in, that we've and loading them up into those. So, well, if we had our little crane and our winch, we got to fix it. The winch. There's another announcement. We're going to do the live feed. Rewinding this armature. This came out of a winch. We're going to need this winch. Anyway, it turns out you take it apart. I love this design. Look at the commutators. Brushes go this way. It's got 4 brushes, so it's always got a leading and pushing and pull. This is a push. This is a series wound DC push pull motor. Okay. All right. Anyway, great little motor design. Anyway, we've done it already. pull these little tabs up, okay, and find the lead wire, the main one. Here, go ahead and do it now. This will be another live stream. We got other stuff we're doing today. So there's the lead wire. We got what we do is we got to soak this in a solvent to get ready this to soften all this glue that's glued all this, that's got it all glued together. Anyway, it was really easy to identify what was wrong with this one. Ew. Burn wire. Anyway, once we get winch fixed, then we can lift stuff whole. But right now, we had to load the stuff on the truck. We can do a little crane thing, you know, all we want. Little boom crane. Counterbalance boom crane. I got the parts right there. Or set up just some kind of rigging. Chicago would work. So I can wheel the stuff with the dolly there, strap it on, lift it up, tilt, pass it over the truck. And I put this, set up a Chicago boom. I don't, where could I strap it to? Oh, I could do the tree. I could put a vertical up to the tree and attach the vertical to the tree and then bring the boom off the vertical that I attach right here. And support them. And then I probably want to put ropes, guys down to the ground stakes, help support, add a little bit of support. Or tip it over the top of the tree, I could let the tree be the vertical. Oh yeah, that would work. I could just hang it like that over one of the branches, one of the big branches, and make a counterbalance. And then hang a counterbalance here and get a thing going. We could do a pull down 90-pound assist. That works well. It could be 110-pound assist. And here's how this works. It's like you climbing a rope, right? Okay, but it's less weight than you weigh. So you grab this, set it up so this you got between your highest reach and the ground of tilt on your boom, like this. And then you hang your chain down your highest reach, or you can grab it, right? And then you can pull it down. So you grab this chain, right? Pull it down, pull the boom down, hook it up to your weight, and then let it go. And if your weight is less than whatever you got counterbalanced here, it'll start lifting it up for you. And then all you can do is pick it up and you move it around like this, see? And you hold it down. You're letting gravity work for you, right? And then you carry that around. So you can set that up. You set that up with a boom and a jib, right? To so many pounds. So if you set up your boom here with a counterbalance, say you go at your 1/3 point. So it's like twice the weight here to support the weight here. So you got, say you want it to have 100, say you want to have let's give it a lift capacity of, now see if it's more than that weight, then you got to add to it, but it makes it that much lighter. See, so you hook it up, and then you grab it and you carry it around. And so you got 100 pounds, a 100-pound item, and 90 pounds of lift, you're lifting 10 pounds. Okay. And if you got 90 pounds of lift and a 50-pound item, then you have 40 pounds you got to hold back still. See, but either way, it helps you move stuff around. So you set up the boom and the jib. So you set up the boom, counterbalance it, and you set up the jib so it can do this. And this gives you this whole range, anything, everywhere you want to go around that, anywhere you want to go with that weight. Okay. You let go. If it has no weight, you let go of it. It goes up to reaching height. See, I just set it up so it stops there. Okay. So you get to take this, pull this, grab it, move it out, whatever. It's a great system. Now I have this. I've collected these parts. I've got this ring thing. It's this it's a tripod for an RV. But in order for this thing to work with the post coming up, it'll need at the bottom to try to solidify the triangulation of the tripod at the bottom, so it doesn't, right? And but it's these legs will fold out to a good 6 feet or so. Anyway, so but design the thing where where it's got a pad that supports the weight, and then the legs come out basically against the pad to equalize the weight between the pad and the feet, so that all the weight coming down and any weight that's applied uh, laterally at the top is taken by the feet. You know, uh, uh, and then I got to design the boom thing. I can design a boom that I can hoist up. So I use this technique. You put the winch here, put a pulley at the top. But the boom has to go and straddle around the pipe. Okay, so it can go up and around the pipe, and so put a pulley at the top, and then it comes down here, it connects here, and then just connects. And then what that creates, then there could be connecting chain here. So what that creates is by pulling in the winch pulls in, and it pulls it up the pipe. Once it's up the pipe, it can tilt against the pivot where the where the space is that goes around the pipe. It can tilt against this, right? So around the pulley. So you get this tiltable boom, okay, that goes around 360 degrees. And what can be done to that is added to that is a jib that's counterbalanced that has another chain that connects to it. So it's counterbalanced too. And then what it would need then would be two water tanks, for instance, with a pump, where you pump water from one to the other. So you grab the thing, okay, you pull the thing down, okay, with the boom balanced already, okay, which would mean that that most of the water would be right at the hang. So this jib come out and would hang with the water, with the counterbalance, we'll call it ballast, hanging at center of gravity. Okay, so then, so the boom would be balanced. Okay, or say with most of it, there it could just keep enough just to balance it against its pivotal, say 1/3. Okay, then the chain could come down. You could grab the chain. The whole jib would come down with the boom as the boom tilts like this, right? And then you'd have that lift against. So then what you do is you get a hold of your weight, turn on the pump, okay, pick the weight up against the jib, and the jib would balance with the weight on it. And then when you pick it up, okay, you'd be picking up this whole balanced jib against the tilt. Okay. How that would work, and you could go wherever with it, and that's wherever that boom jib will go within the radius of it. So if the boom's sticking out like this and the jib is sticking all the way out, the full radius is the length of the operating length of the boom plus the operating length of the jib. Okay, and the operating length of the jib being you set it up right, then you got the jib the same length as the boom. Okay, so that gives you twice the reach out here. And over here like this, it gives you a pass under point where you can pass over the pivot point. So that gives you the entire radius you can go through, and you can just move anywhere within that radius. Now, so think about this ramification of it, what a carnival ride. If you design a thing, build it up stout enough where you can add enough and put the counterbalancer the same way, the same rigging on your pivot. So you just add counterbalance to support the whole thing. Once you've got this supported and that supported, you add counterbalance to add enough counterbalance to get to say, oh, you want to say, oh, then you need to have a rack would come down and grab your waist and get you on a gimbal so you can move 360 degrees within that hang. Okay. And what you got is a device that can simulate any gravity you want, including zero gravity, and put you out. You'd be hanging out in space and be going, hey. So in that case, you could learn to swim in space. In which case, I have to teach you the move because nobody believes it's possible, but it is. It has to do with following that formula, which takes the angular momentum and converts it at 90 degrees from that, or well, even an off angle, It doesn't have to be 90 degrees, but you got to convert it to linear momentum and then accelerate it, and convert it. So accelerate it angularly and then extract it linearly. That's the Goliath motor. David spun up his sling and let it go. And if you just out in space, okay. Somebody could do this experiment in a spacesuit. Please tether off so you don't go away. But what you need is you take a string like this, okay, and you put a weight on each end of the string. Let me find something else. A better. Actually, yeah, I heard this before. Okay, so you take your piece of string, a rope, and you need weight. And you take and you connect one end of your belt like this. You tie it off. Boom. So it can't slip like this, and it goes off, and you need them equal length, okay, like that. And what you do, you get here and you need slack, like here. You leave slack, and then you take the strings and you get out on your spacewalk and you tether off, and you point away from the spacecraft, and you go like this. And then, you don't push it because it puts you backwards. You need to just let go at the perfect time. So you spin these weights up like this, angularly, spin them both up opposite directions. So you don't turn one way or the other, because see, if you're out there like that in space and you got a weight on the end of the string, even on a string, you start doing this. Okay, that action is going to make you turn opposite of whichever way you're turning it. So if it's like here, and you got the weight, you start doing this, you'll do this. Anyway, but you can use that to maneuver yourself any way you need with the two things. Once you learn how to let them go just the right, exact, perfect time. Boom. What happens? They would go out. You see what happened? They went out away from me, but gravity took them and they went down. Out in space, that wouldn't happen. They would go out and they go bink, and they would pull on your belt. And when they pull on your belt, it would pull you, and you would move. Okay? So there's somebody needs to try that experiment while a spacewalk and prove that. Okay? Prove it wrong or right for me, please. Okay? So, anyway, it's 8:21. We get to go today. We're going to take the Suddenlink modem that we're broadcasting through right now, and go ahead and turn it in. That way we don't experience any billing cycle. We won't owe them any money, because or if we do, it'd be a day's worth of usage. Okay, because it's like maybe billing cycle ended. We canceled automatic at the first of the month. We canceled the automatic bill thing. We've been running. We got one of these. Here, let me unplug this to show you. It's not on. It's been hanging out. This will be our internet, and it'll go in our van, our studio. There's our desk. It's going to go mobile in a production van. This will be our internet. We'll be able to roll up into a place, pull out microphones, pull out video feed, go boom, go live just like we're going right now. And we'll be able to bring you different bands and events and all kinds of stuff live from our mobile rig. And at the same time, we'll still have, what's it doing out there? It's still out there. Refresh. Hey. The sunrise. I got the phone, the other mobile device out there, live feeding to Facebook. And I think it. There it is. You can hear the sound. It keeps locking up. So I gotta refresh it. It keeps locking up. featuring King Reggae, Stan Rankin, yes. So we're gonna go all yes. And the thing we were gonna do is say, hey, DJ, I'm taking an electric guitar. Say, hey DJ, put on something for Rich that I can play. No, the sound is too loud. Still here. We can take it out of the feed. Still in the monitors. Because we're going to be set wrong. Anyway, so yeah, it's about time to go retrieve that and set it on the path of live streaming. That's our basically our Facebook is RONIJAMES, and we live stream continually all the time. We pick up stuff and send stuff out on this channel. Okay, and right now we're doing sunrise. Oh, that's an airplane. It was coming through the speakers, and I couldn't tell what it was. I had to shut the speakers on, and I could hear it. Wow, there's some really striking cloud formations. Oh, I see a doggy. Cool. If you look, see where the antenna is. Oh, you're not. Whoever's watching, if you go to this and see this feed, I could be telling you about it. Oh, there's a doggy with sunglasses. Oh, doggies today. Today's a day of dogs. Well, Rocky's going to get to ride out. It's going to be Rocky Road and ride out to Mars, our metaphorical Mars. And then we got some flyers we're going to post. Radiator Splash. We got bumper stickers. One to give the bumper, give a sticker. And we got one to stick on our vehicle and one to else another one to give away. So that's 2 to give away and 1 to stick on our van. The gig day. So we're gonna send you out right now. Send you out, and then we're just this feed right here. What we got on the Facebook. You go pick it up on Facebook. Oh, did I mention? No money down. I did mention it. Anyway, so there we go. Button ready. The end button. We're going to send you out. And Rocky. He's there. He's going to be rode down today to go Monday. Monday. Oh, don't forget, vote. Tomorrow is voting day. It's a full moon eclipse, okay, which we will be able to see coming up. Got to be up at 2:30 in the 3 in the morning, okay. 2:30 would be good because we got more time to have coffee and talk and stuff. Anyway, we're going to be doing that as a feed out on Facebook with the device that we got right now sitting to Facebook. We're going to do it again. We're going to put out there the lunar full. It's a full moon lunar eclipse tomorrow, which will be E flat. So today's today, and then but today is today, and then so yeah, on the F minor, it's a full moon eclipse. I got only one channel. What? Huh. Oh well. Anyway, yeah. Tomorrow's the F on the F minor is the full moon lunar eclipse. Be up at 2:30 in the morning watching the east to have it rise. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm back. It's not rising. Reverse. It's gonna be setting in the morning. Yeah. See a brain fart. It's gonna be setting as the sun rises. And the eclipse will happen just here on our hemisphere. Will happen just before the sun rises, and it'll eclipse. Well, it'll be eclipsing because the Earth is going to be in the way. See, so as the moon sets, the sun rises, the eclipse will begin, and it'll shadow the moon. You'll see the shadowed moon go away. Something like that, anyway. So now that's looking skinny on that one. And guess what? It's also voting day. So after you see that early this morning, okay, then go vote. Oh, I guess you're on a bald spot. We want to have all our hair moved. That's some personal stuff we want to do. Get our finances squared away. Move some hair. The body up there. Get it off the body. We don't have to cut it. Just pull it no more. Manipulate it no more. Whatever we have to do for certain body parts. All of it. Take those hairs and just move them. And then they can grow all they want. That's the deal I want to make with my hair. That's another kind of announcement. Something that's possible in this day and age. Totally possible.